in the late 1990s, the BLM did a seizure of cattle from the Hage Ranch, along with the Coven Ranch, which is in Esmeralda County. And at that time, the sheriff, my predecessor, left Nevada, went on a fishing trip. And during that time, the seizure took place. At that time, they took cattle from Wayne Hage's estate, from the Wayne Hage Ranch, and and the person left in charge of the Nye County Sheriff's Office in that area didn't have the authority, he stated, to stop the seizure. The quote was he didn't want to go to Club Fed. When I came into office in 2003, a couple of months after I came into office, and I expected BLM, based upon the history that I was aware of, to start, to initiate some type of an action against Wayne Hage's ranch, and at that time empowered my area commander, Assistant Sheriff Joanna Cody, and all the people in the Northern Area Command to stop any type of illegal cattle seizure from whatever governmental entity it was, whether it be from the state government, which we didn't believe was going to be a problem, but the federal government, whether it be BLM, U.S. Forestry Service. And at that time, a couple of months into my administration, I get a phone call from my lieutenant advising me that they were in the process of conducting an illegal seizure and legal action against Wayne Hage, which I told them, I informed them that they would carry out my orders and making sure that no illegal action took place against a constituent or citizens of Nye County, and that any unlawful action from the federal government would result in an arrest by the people that are there. And at that time, I was informed that they were in contact with a U.S. attorney, and that the U.S. attorney was advising them that, advising the members of the Nye County Sheriff's and my lieutenant that if I didn't allow them to take these actions against Wayne Hage, that they were going to have a warrant for my arrest, which I said, I'll give my address and I'll be waiting for them. They can contact Las Vegas office, which is the closest one. We're only 45 miles from Las Vegas, and they can come to my residence and they can conduct whatever action they thought was appropriate, even though I stood on legal ground according to the Constitution. One of the interesting issues that came to me, or one of the interesting comments that came to me, was from one of my people who was up in the Northern Area Command, which informed me that the federal government was interested in seizing cattle, and they would use any means necessary, including armed federal agents, which I informed my deputy to notify that member of that federal agency that if they brought any armed federal agents to Nye County to conduct an illegal search and seizure, that they would be faced with the Nye County Sheriff's Office SWAT team as well, and then we'd be standing between them and my constituent, and to advise them that nothing was going to take place, and if they conduct any kind of illegal action, that they would be placed under arrest. And that goes across the board. We placed members of my office under arrest. I didn't see any reason for us not to be able to arrest a member of a federal authority if they're conducting an illegal search and illegal seizure. And that action didn't take place. Apparently, I didn't know if they were posturing. The deputy didn't know if they were posturing as well. But shortly thereafter, we didn't have any more issues with BLM. I explained to him what the Constitution was. I explained to him my position as the sheriff of Nye County. I explained to him the position that we're taking as law enforcement authority and protector of life and property for our constituents in Nye County. And I explained to him what the Constitution was. I explained to him the errors that they have committed. These seizures that were taking place were not court ordered. They weren't ordered by a judge. What it was a signature by Representative BLM stating that that BLM rangers are going to seize these cattle with whoever they contracted to take the cattle into custody, and then take them off the property, which they did several times in Nye County, and sell them outside of not only the Fourth Amendment unlawful seizure, but also the Fifth Amendment of due process. And also, the government has to compensate for any property they take, and it's paraphrasing the Fifth Amendment, but you take property, you have to compensate the property owner for it. And they did neither of those. And the order was for them to take cattle outside of any kind of federal, any kind of due process, without the ability of a rancher or the property owner actually standing in front of a judge in the court to plead their case and having their time in court, so to speak. And I explained to them that outside of a court order, that they would not be able to seize any cattle whatsoever, or they would not be able to take any property off the ranch. At one meeting I had with BLM, represent BLM, they told me that they were going to seize cattle, and at that time I said, well, you can do whatever you want, except you're not going to be able to take the cattle off if you're looking to seize cattle. I said, it's not going to happen. And we're not going to pound any cattle on your behalf outside of fact. Maybe what we can do is if you have a lawful order, we can hold the cattle. We're not going to have the cattle removed off the property. We'll impound them on the ranch. And as I said, I'll make sure that I tell the ranch, the owner of the ranch, to make sure this cattle stays on the ranch. And at that time, if he disobeys my request, and we'll deal with that on a local level. But as far as I'm concerned, that no cows are going to be removed from anyone's property without a court order. And since that time, they've never produced a court order as far as any type of a seizure. And after that meeting, the 2004 meeting, things kind of quieted down with BLM. We actually were able to work things out, and we came to an understanding if they were going to go on to the allotted lands, the Hages allotted lands, or any ranches allotted lands up in northern Nye County where these ranches are, that they would contact us, and then we'd escort them around on the ranches, make sure there would be no incidents, that the BLM rangers would stay within their authority, which is to count the head of cattle. And at one time they were trying to issue a trespass against Wayne Hage for garbage, for his garbage area. It actually has a dump there on the ranch. And they were going to cite him for dumping garbage in this dump that he was allowed to have. And in fact, I actually contacted Wayne Hage when it came to my attention. They would issue a citation. And I asked Wayne Hage, I said, where's this dump you're talking about? He says, no, that dump's been there since 1860s. So I contacted BLM, and I said to the ranger, I said, let me ask you a question. This dump has been there since 1860. I know that BLM is a little slow, and I know the government is a little slow about taking some type of appropriate action, but I said over 130 years is a little ridiculous. Just give you a short synopsis of what happened following Wayne Hage's death and the death of his second wife. And I explain. In 1991, when Wayne Hage's property was seized by the federal government, he started he filed a lawsuit against and filed a case against the federal government. In 1996, the stress and strain that Wayne Hage believed, the stress and strain of his battle with the federal government, took the life of his wife. His wife, Jean, got very sick, and she died in 1996. Sometime after, he married Helen Jenoweth Hage. She was a congresswoman for Idaho, and they got married. And shortly after Wayne Hage died, she died as well, and she died in a car accident. After the death of Wayne and Helen Hage and Jean Hage, the federal judge rendered a decision in the case, and rendered a decision in favor of Wayne Hage. Actually stated in the case that the federal government actually illegally seized property. The case settled for over $4 million. Subsequent to that, in contact with the family, my understanding is that the federal government's appealing to the judge's decision, and that case is now in the hands of the court. Subsequent to that, the federal government has continued to write trespassing citations towards the Wayne Hage and his estate. Wayne Hage's estate. This ranch is now managed by Wayne Hage Jr. And to see the type of life that these people have, ranching is hard work, and all they're trying to do is put food on the table for Americans. Our concern and my concern is the fact that we import now most of our food. We import most of our resources in oil. We're now importing most of the resources that we once had in this United States, which was food, is now being imported into this country. And the concerns we have is, as citizens of Nye County and citizens and the ranchers, is the fact that the government is now could allow the United States to be held stranglehold, like OPEC controls the oil. That the concerns that a lot of citizens have is that that the food may be used as a way of holding America hostage in the future.